What's up, guys? This is Yuji Kun here for Clock Phase. My friend has a log rising deck that he's gonna do a deck profile of for you guys, and his awesome, lovely Phase Zero or Phase Day Night Unlimited Bladeworks playmat of Saber and Archer. So let's have him take it away with the deck profile.
All right, everybody. ELChadRock here. I like Log Horizon. Not a lot of people do, but I feel like it's got a lot of tools that a lot of people don't recognize. And so I figured I've actually run two different styles of builds of this. I've done a twins build as well as which is focused on Minori and Toya. But this is the one that I've had a little bit more success with. It's got a lot of salvage, a lot of things that were missing. So we're going to take it away. First, we run one Waltz for 2 Akatsuki. It's a really good turn 1 play. If it's the only character, it gets 1500 more power as well as Encore, where it's basically put a character from your hand to the waiting room. So if it's the only one out, it's a 4K beater. Obviously unless it gets suicided, that's kind of the big thing there. Another beater that I actually personally really like, and I run 4 of, is the Sojiros. Basically, on your opponent's turn, at base it's only 25, so you're like, okay, it's alright. But on your opponent's turn, it actually gives 2,000 more. They get 2,000 more power if they have 3 or less characters. So basically, on defense, they're 45s before assist, and kind of tough to get over. It'd be a bunch of side attacks, as long as they don't just like spam their board with full of characters. All right, and then I also run 3 of the Rundle Houses. I like these for their change effect, because I do run a couple of the level 1 Rudies, which we'll see later. But their changes are pay 1, and you put a card from your hand to the waiting room, and basically put him in the waiting room, obviously, for the change. But it happens at climax phase. So he can come out, if you've got a stock, the level 1 Rudy's in there, play it, beginning of climax, pay 1, ditch him, ditch a card, boom, you got a level 1 out at level 0, which is always good for board dominance, if I have to say so myself. And then the other kind of beat sticky thing we run 3 of the Assassin Akatsukis. Obviously, level 0 reversers. The other ability they have, which is kind of unique, is that if you tap a character, she actually gets an additional 1,000. So you can technically make her a little bit bigger than the 1,500, and then not have to worry about reversing, kind of killing yourself. But it's got a little bit more of a oomph to it. So that's all that. So the other level 0s we run, this is kind of more of our assists now. We run 2 of the full control and counter Shiros. They give 1,000 to whoever's in the center stage. So if you have a Sojiro and you have one of him in the back line, that makes him a 55 if they have 3 or less characters. And it also has Brainstorm, so you pay 1, tap, and it's a draw card for every climax. And then we also run 2 of the Rudy's owner Azuzus. Basically, if you have any other Rudies on the field, she actually gives 500 to them, so it's a nice little boost for him or the level 1. But the main reason we have it is when she comes out into play, you pay 1, you ditch a card from your hand into the waiting room, and then you can search your deck for a weapon or a magic character. And then, yeah, it's like a nice little search. And lastly, we run 2 of the Rays. Because her name's long and I'm awful. Basically, she's just got the ability of you can tap 2 characters and basically look at the top card of the deck if you want to put it at the top or put it at the bottom, whichever you prefer. But also, if she's in the back line, if one of your characters get reversed, she will sack herself, or you have the ability to sack her and save that card that dies. So it's good if you want to keep kind of board pressure and not have to pay as much stock. So that's basically the level 0 game. It's got a decent amount of utility. It's got a decent amount of beat to it, as long as you don't get somebody who's got like 4 level 0s out at turn 1 or something like that. So that is all of the level 0. Let me grab these. Now we move to the level 1 game. And for level 1, it's a little smaller than a lot of decks run, but it's worked really well for me. I run 2 of the reliable accountant Henrietta's. The reason we run these is not because, they're only 3,500 power, they're not exactly the biggest beat stick, but it bonds with the level 2 Cleric Marielle, which is really crucial to our level 2 game. So that's why I run 2, is in case I don't have her and she's in the waiting room, I can easily bond, search for it, pay 1, grab her. So that's really the main reason we run her. We also run 2 of the 1-0 Isuzus, 3,500. These are level 1 reversers. So those are, I'll always take a level 1 reverser. Those are always clutch, good to keep the level 1 game. If you're getting you got that one beater that's just huge, play that. It's like, all right, let's take care of that. Let's get that off the field. All right, and then this is kind of our bigger beaters of the bunch. We run 3 of the Dislikes Fashion Akatsuki. Pretty good. It's 6,000, so pay 1. It's a 1-1. It's a 6,000, and it's got Encore, where you would take the top card of the deck, put it into the clock, so it saves itself. But the other ability, which is nice, is if you tap one of your magic characters, she gets an additional 1,000. So she's a 7,000 with Encore if you tap a magic character. Which, most of the time, if you have the Shiros, they're magic characters in the back line, you're good to go on that, so give her that little bit of extra oomph. We run 2 of the Adventure Rundlehausens, or Ruis. These are the ones that the level 0 change into, which is this guy here again, just to show you. And the nice thing about him is that he obviously can't side attack, which is, whoop-de-doo. But he can't be reversed by auto effects. So if you run into like a level 1 reverser or a bomber or what have you, he can stay alive. Plus, this is like a 7k level 0 change. Good luck getting over that for a little bit. And then lastly, we run 3 events. We run 3 of the Mind Shocks, which are backups, which you can give one of your weapon or magic characters an extra 3,500 power. So this is all of the level 1. Like I said, it's a little bit smaller, but this deck has a lot of... You build up to basically your level 2 and 3 game. You want to try to conserve stock where you can, but also want to kind of have board control the best of your ability. Things like that. And let me show you why. Because once we get to this next portion, you will totally understand where I'm coming from with that. So at level 2, we have our first of our climax combos, which we run in the deck. And that is when we run 3 of the Cleric Marielles, which this is the Henrietta, and this is the Marielle that it searches for. So what this does is when it comes out basically when you play the climax, which is this one here, Crescent Moon Alliance, which we'll get more into later, you pay 1 and you clock yourself for a damage. When you do that, she gets 2,000 more power, making her a 10k, but also you get to search your waiting room for 2 cards. So basically you can salvage 2 and she becomes 10k. So I think that's really good for what you need for the level 3. You definitely need to have kind of the cards you need, as well as it's just a good salvage in case you need some extra characters. The other level 2 we run 3 of the Maiden's Heart Katsukis. These are good for when they come out. You get to look at the top card of your deck. If it's a weapon or magic, which the entire deck is weapon or magic outside of the Ray cards, those are Eris, so that's the only one that it wouldn't affect. If it is, you put it in your hand and you ditch a card from your hand, basically. So she comes out, look at the top, put it in your hand if it's a weapon or magic, and then you ditch a card, which is pretty nice. So it's kind of like a nice way to kind of keep looking through your deck. But also, the main reason we run it is its changeability. You pay 2, and you ditch a card from your hand, and then she swaps to the level 3, which is fantastic, which is where we're getting into next, because let me tell you, the level 3 is where this little deck shines. So, at level 3, we run 3 of the Log Horizons Representative Shiro. These are really, really freaking good and totally underestimated, if I have to say so myself. The first ability is that you cannot take damage from your opponent's auto effects. So say with like how the meta is right now with like 2 Love Rue and things like that, where, oh, well I did this, I ping you, you don't take that damage because he's on the field. The other nice thing is that he gives 1,000 power to everyone in front of him by their level. So if you've got level 3s in front of him, he's boosting him by a good 3,000. The final ability, which is really nice, is you can pay 1 and tap him. Basically gives the character, one of your characters that are swinging, the ability where if they reverse it, what they do is the character in front. So say I have a character right here, and he's like back here, just to kind of show you. So he swings, kills something. I tap him, pay 1, and then the character facing him, or whatever card, will lose 2 soul. So it's a nice way to kind of nullify a lot of the damage you're about to take and kind of keep your level 3 game just... I mean, they're going to have to work hard, especially if you've got 2 of him in the back line, which is why I run 3, because I like to have the consistency of being able to have him out in the field. The other level 3 we run 2 of the Guardian Natsugus. He's not too bad, but what he does is he gets 500 power for all the other weapon or magic characters you have on the field, so obviously he gets another 2,000. So he's 9-5, makes him 11-5, which isn't, too great. But if he's in the center position, he gets the ability of Great Performance, where if he's in the center, all characters on your opponent's side have to swing at him until he's reversed. So if you have 2 of the Shiro and 1 of the Natsugus in the middle, he's getting an extra 6k on top of the 2, making him a 17-5, which a lot of decks are going to have a hard time getting over at level 3. On top of, you can give him the ability and say have 2 of your characters have negative 2 soul. Like, it's kind of a nightmare. All right. And lastly, we run 2 of the Lord's Knights Akatsuki's. This is the level 2 changer. We swap into this. Cannot side attack. Woe is me. But the nice thing is that it heals when it gets changed or placed from hand. So, obviously you heal 1. But then it climax combos with the other climax we run, which is Waltz for 2. And what happens then is that she gets an additional 4,000 power and the ability of when you reverse a character, your opponent takes an additional damage. So you already swinging for 3. Even if they don't block it, you swing at them. You basically hit them for 4 damage for free at that point. So it's nice, and even if they do block, it's a nice little ping damage to add. So that's the level 3 that we run. Alright. Alright, and like I said, the climaxes we do run 4 of the Waltz for 2s. They're gate triggers with a 1k1. So, it's another nice way to salvage from all the other salvage we do have, which is the one that climax combos, obviously, with this Akatsuki. And then we run 4. I got these on the wrong order. We run 4 of the Crescent Moon Alliance, which are basically take a red card from the waiting room, put it into stock, and everybody gets a soul, which climaxes again with this Mariel. So basically, how the deck runs, these are your 2 big climax combos. Obviously, this is good for salvage. It gives you a lot more opportunity to get cards that you need. Plus, it makes you a 10k level 2, which is also really good. And then this for the Akatsuki, which gives them the extra ping damage, makes her 1400 base when you play it. So this is what I've done. Makes it really, really good for me. I've had a lot of good results with it. A lot of times when I've done locals, it's taken 1st or 2nd. So I've had really good success. Obviously, you can make any kind of changes you want. Log Horizon, like I said, it feels like it has a lot of cards that I feel are underutilized. So definitely, if you feel you want to make any modifications, things you feel like would be better, definitely, leave comments. Let us know what you think. So, once again, I'm ChadRock. Make sure to, like if you enjoyed the video and all that stuff. So, you guys have a good one.
Alright guys, that's it. Thanks for tuning in to our Clock Phases Log Horizon deck profile, and a great shout out to ChadRock, my personal good friend here. Thanks a lot for doing his deck profile, willing to come out to do this. If you guys like this video or have any questions or suggestions, give us a comment in the below. Until next time, see you guys later.